And I think the stereotype that, like, Americans are fat, lazy, don't like to work, we just, like, aren't trying hard enough, that's exactly what our government wants you guys to think. Because in my opinion, that's not, it's hard because it really honestly depends where you go in America. But I think it's important to note too that when our infrastructure was being built, the cities and specifically the suburbs and the neighborhoods, they were being built specifically with racism in mind, because white people in the city were racist and they didn't want to live around black and brown people who were moving and working in the city. So that's where, like, the wrong side of the tracks comes from, because they created train tracks and highways in between the to create redlining, basically, and then they made it harder by creating security deposits were created to make it harder also for just poor people, but more specifically people of color, from being able to move into predominantly white neighborhoods. And you can try to walk, sure, but, like, you're not going to be able to. Like, it's illegal to walk on highways and on freeways. So, and it's very dangerous. And there's literally, most of the time, there's barriers so that people can't do that because they don't want people to commit suicide. But it's built like that on purpose, and it's like the same notion of, like, you guys just don't want to try hard enough. You don't want to walk hard enough. It's the same thing of Europeans who just think we don't want free healthcare enough, and that's why we don't have it. When it goes so much deeper than that, it makes them a lot more money to keep healthcare privatized. And in America, honestly, until we have more women in charge, we're not going to see universal health care and Medicaid and Medicare come back, in my opinion. Which, specifically, Medicare is super important because that gives people under 60 access to health care. Yeah, and it's definitely not the best health care, but it's better than nothing. But it's bad. It's getting to the point where a lot of people are just opting out of having health insurance because it costs more to have the insurance than just to pay fully out of pocket. But the stereotype that Americans are, like, fat, lazy, like, we don't want to work, is partly something the government wants you guys to think, because the whole, like, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, like, it's a scam. It's unless you're a white straight man or a white woman, I would say, like, the pull yourself up by your bootstraps doesn't always work, because it doesn't take into account systemic obstacles that different intersectionalities or identities have to deal with, depending on your, like, specific intersectionality. But also, like, I think about this a lot. America wouldn't exist without Europe to an extent, so Europe is the blueprint, and I honestly don't want to hear anything about colonizing, because manifest destiny, and unless you're Irish, I don't want to fucking hear it, because that was the only country, to my knowledge, that didn't colonize Africa. So it's just funny. I'm like, you guys, sure, try to walk, play Crossy Road for all I care at this point, but, like, I honestly, I hope this makes people realize it's not that we don't want these things that make life easier, like social safety nets and, like, infrastructure. Like, it's not that we don't want it hard enough, it's that our government, like, works against us a lot. I will say we have had some wins this year, if you look into it, but overall the administration is causing literally so much damage, and a lot of it is permanent, which is scary, or I should say, like, feels permanent. But I will say, what we're going through in terms of the socio-political atmosphere, it's happened before. And I forget who said this or, like, what book it is, but there's, like, a theory that empires or, like, nations last, like, 250 years, and I'm pretty sure this July 4th is USA's 250th birthday, so happy birthday to us, I guess. But I love watching Europeans discover Waffle House and ranch.